What's going on, guys? This is VFM here, and here's a brand new OTGT for all of you out there. This time I'm talking about Power Rangers Super Legends, the 15th anniversary of the actual Mighty Morphin Power Rangers franchise. So, what is this game all about? Well, let's start with a little bit of backstory. Everybody's been fan, or pretty much if you grew up in the 90s, everybody was a fan of Power Rangers back then. If anybody who grew up in the 90s and you ask them if they were a fan of this or not, and they tell you no, they're lying to you. Hands down. Take it from me. I myself, I was a fan back in the day, when I was growing up. But anyway, about this game. From that actual Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, they spinned off into a bunch of other franchises, a lot of which are featured in this game. A lot of the selling point behind this is that the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers cast is part of this, but this is both true and untrue. The game itself is pretty much a side-scrolling beat-em-up, where pretty much you're going from point A to point B throughout a level, you're exploring different spots, collecting, not only beating up bad guys, but also collecting different items to help you unlock special features throughout the game, including artwork, soundtracks, other Rangers to play as, etc., etc. Now, with that being said, the main story of it is that Lord Zed is actually going to the different timelines of different Power Rangers' history, and trying to find these crystals in order to enable him to destroy the Power Rangers and their main power source once and for all. So, one main Ranger, which is this one White Ranger, who guards the main source of power for all Power Rangers and all the different timelines, starts recruiting different Rangers from different time periods in order to help him stop Lord Zed from accomplishing his goal. So, from the different time periods, you get different ones like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Turbo, Power Rangers SBD, Samurai, Dino Thunder, etc. From there, you get, for the entire cast, after unlocking everything, you get 4 main Rangers from each of the different periods. Here's the thing that's both good and bad about that, because one, you get a wide variety of all the different Power Rangers from all the different timelines. But also, at the same time, you don't get to see some of the Rangers that are also fan favorites from the different series. And also, you don't actually get the freedom of actually being able to choose your favorite Ranger, if you had one. In my case, I like the Red Ranger, but I'm also a fan of the Green Ranger, if you guys remember, was Tommy. He's the guy who had the dagger that he could play like an ocarina and call his Megazord. And he also eventually became the White Ranger. You don't actually get to see that in here. The only main Rangers that you get from the original series are the Red Ranger, the Pink Ranger, Kimberly, Billy, which was the Blue Ranger, and I believe it was Tina, the Yellow Ranger, which was the Asian girl. I believe her name was Tina. I could be wrong. But on top of that, from the other series, you also get 4 different colored Rangers. And usually they're mostly kind of like the same. They're all kind of in cahoots with one another. The main problem with that is this. If you've got a game that's celebrating, the 15th anniversary of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, why not really go back to the original series and try to include as much of that as you can? I understand, yes, you want to tie in all the Rangers' different shows together, really kind of put them out there and really give a kind of wide variety for everybody. But a lot of people aren't really fans of much more of the later series. Really what started with them was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That was really where the bulk of everything was at. On top of that, kind of springboarding off that kind of idea, Tommy, which was the Green Ranger, White Ranger, and also Red Ranger in some of the later series because he kept coming back for the series, he was probably one of the most popular characters in all of the franchise. So I find it amazing how he's going to be that popular and they're not really going to kind of include him here. He might actually be in one of the other kind of, other properties or one of the other series on here. I didn't get to unlock everything. I got through the bulk of everything pretty much. But you have to collect these different kind of items like medallions or scrolls and such depending on what level you're at. And you can unlock a specific type of Ranger from that time period. But my problem is that for the most part, you don't really see him at all in any part of this game. And he's probably one of the most popular actors to ever come to that show because of, him playing the Green Ranger and such. That was pretty awesome. It would have been nice and awesome if you were able for the co-op, because this is co-op, by the way, if you were able to pick both the Red and the Green Ranger and just go around beating the crap out of enemies all over the place. That would have been awesome in itself. And I would have said, yeah, you definitely go check it out for that because at least he's in the game. But he's not. So, fortunately, even though Jason's the only one in there, it's not enough to really save this game from being kind of a complete failure. On top of that is this. They don't have any of the original Power Rangers music in there. They kind of got like a little remix kind of rock theme to everything going on, throughout all the levels and such. And on top of that, the original voice cast from the original Power Rangers, or even from the respective shows, don't really lend their voices to the characters, which I can understand and I can live with. But like I said, if you got a game that's really celebrating an anniversary of such, it would really, be in the best interest of the franchise to put a little more effort in actually going and getting little things like that. It would have been awesome if we had the original actor's Jason's voice. That would have been cool. I would have been, at least happy enough with that, but they got somebody else to do it. But it's not so much of a big deal. It's just little nuances that could have just added to the overall presentation. As far as gameplay, like I said, it's standard side-scrolling beat 'em up, you're collecting stuff, but also on top of that, it's after boss levels, after you defeat different monsters that are the bosses in here, you get these Megazord battles, which are pretty much, active time, button sequences that are, real quick and such, that you have to pretty much mash or rotate the stick or hit specific buttons at certain time frames to actually fight these actual giant monsters and stuff with your Megazord. Which, on top of that, because you don't get to see the entire cast of each respective property, or each respective ranger from their whatever time period they're from, it kind of is counterproductive a little bit, to have the whole Megazord with everybody there, but yet you're not really seeing all the rangers, so, like, what's the point of that? You might as well at that point kind of leave it out, which would be stupid in itself, don't get me wrong, but a lot of bad design decisions that were actually made for this game. And it's kind of sad because Power Rangers is a kind of popular franchise. Even though it's kind of dwindled throughout the years, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, a lot of people will tell you, like, that's, that was where it was at back in the day. And it would have been nice if they actually did little things kind of going back to the original series. Since the main villain is from the original series anyway, it would have been, dropping a couple of the franchises that were there and just focus both on the main series and maybe one or two others of the actual kind of different time frames on there. It would have been good. I think it would have been better for the game. The co-op is nothing really special. It's just the same things over. It doesn't get any harder or any easier. Well, it gets a little bit easier, because with your two people, but it doesn't get any harder, and pretty much it's the exact same thing like if you were just running through it solo. It's not a hard game, so you could pretty much beat this entire game if you want within maybe about like 2 days, to be honest with you. But that's just my thing. So overall, if you're a Power Rangers fan and you just want to explore what this game has to offer, you can check this out, but you're not really going to get the kind of level of commitment or kind of like level of an anniversary game as what you were expecting, because like I said, there really isn't a lot from the original series. There's only so much that they did for this, so it's sad because it's a franchise that deserves a lot better. So I'm just saying, that's just my opinion, guys. Leave your comments and video responses. I don't mind. Just keep it civil. Let me know what you guys think of this game. I know it's on other platforms, and I only got to really play this one. I think there's also one for the DS or the Game Boy Advance. I could be wrong. But overall, what do you guys think of this game? If you guys think that instead maybe for like a 20th or 25th anniversary, they should like maybe do like a remake of the original series and have like the entire cast or as much of the cast they could get, because I know some of them have died over the years, but try to get the as much of the original cast and towards the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers TV show as you could, because that would be awesome. I think that would be much worthy of an anniversary kind of like celebration of the franchise. But that's just me. So put it in the comment section below, guys. That's all I got for you guys. I'm VFM. This has been Only the Goddamn Truth, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Take it easy, everybody.